IPM is becoming every boy's choice. So everyone who is coming out of standard 12th now wishes to do IPM. IPM is perhaps the best degree available for someone who is just coming out of standard 12th. And the best part was recently one institute called Nalsar Hyderabad, a very popular institute down south in Hyderabad, announced its IPM launch. The great news is the two representatives from Nalsar Hyderabad are over here on LegalEdge and Supergrads YouTube channel, and they are announcing the launch of IPM program over here. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a big day for all of us, and a very warm welcome of Dr. Pinaki Nandan Patnaik, Head Department of Management Studies, Nalsar Hyderabad, and Mr. Siddharth Chauhan. Siddharth sir is Assistant Professor, Nalsar Hyderabad. A very warm welcome of both of you on Legal Edge as well as Supergrads YouTube channel.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, not wasting the time, let's have the conversation going. And the first question I'm directly asking Pinaki sir. So, the big news is that NLU Nalsa Department of Management Studies is coming up with IPM program, sir.
Yes.
So, when exactly are you going to start this program? Throw some light on this.
So thank you, Rahul, for having us on your channel. It's been a great pleasure, of course, talking to you in the prep for this interview. And also thank you for reminding us that we need to have our masks on. We are still during those COVID times. Unfortunately, and why did I have to say that is because although we had thought of having the last date of applying by end of July, and beginning of the classes by mid of August, because of the unprecedented second wave that India faced during beginning in February, and still on. I think it's still on. We had to push the program dates a little bit, and therefore now we will start by the mid of September.
All right.
Now, this is also because the admission process here will take some time. We will receive the applications, then the shortlisting of applications will happen. The last date for receiving, as I said, is 15th of August now. Then starts the shortlisting process, followed by conducting interviews of those who are shortlisted, publication of merit list, sending offer letters, acceptance by the selected candidates. And all of these we are planning to complete by the first week of September. And sometime around the mid of September is where we are where we are thinking of beginning of classes, commencement of classes, post, of course, an induction.
So all these students glued to the screens right now who may be wishing to be part of NLU Nalsar for this upcoming IPM program must be knowing now that September is the month when they're going to start.
Yes.
And one more important thing, sir, in continuation, I'm going to ask you. So
Yes.
what is going to be the admission formality? I mean, what entrances are you exactly looking at? And what will be the formalities? I mean, what kind of formalities students have to look into for this particular process?
Again, I think thanks, Rahul. I'm sure Nalsar, being Nalsar, we thought about this for a very long time. In fact, the program prep took about 5 years for us, nothing less. And we thought about enlarging our scope for CLAT aspirants, and that was one of the prime factors that made us put CLAT, take CLAT as an admitting exam for this program. But of course, apart from that, we have IPMAT and GIPMAT as well.
Great.
And we also wanted to expand it to JEE. Now, the idea behind JEE was the quantitative aptitude.
Right.
These programs are centered around the quantitative aptitude, not foregoing the fact that human skills and humanities and social sciences are equally important. So those form the basic parameters of our process. The process is very simple. You can visit our website and visit the page, log on, register yourself as an interested candidate. If you are interested, you fill the application form. Once the application form is filled, which has very simple things, date of birth, parents, details, and your scores in the 10th and 12th. Now, of course, as you might already be knowing, CBSE has now changed its model of conducting the 10th and 12th examination, and they are saying now we will partition it and
Yeah.
take overall performance and not just one particular day. Now that's very critical to us. So therefore, for us, your 10th class is important, to which we give about 12.5% of the weightage.
Okay.
Then 12th class is important, for which we give 12.5% of your weightage. Then your performance in the entrance, which is 50% of the weightage. And the last 25% of the weightage is given to interviews.
Okay. Last
All
15% to
shortlisted
interviews,
candidates,
right?
yes,
Okay. So I'll just
25%
I'll
evaluation.
just repeat this particular thing. 12.5% to what you scored in 10th standard.
Yes,
12.5% to what marks you are going to get right now by CBSE methodology in standard 12th. Okay.
correct.
50% in any of the entrances you appear for. That
Yes,
be it CLAT, be it GIPMAT, be it IPM aptitude test Indore. Any three
yes,
of them. In fact, IIT JEE also this year or not?
yes, yes,
Including IIT. A
yes,
big point being made by Dr. Pinaki over here that IIT aspirants can also get inside Nalsar Hyderabad IPM program, and last
correct.
15% to the interviews. So interviews are also,
25% is for the interviews.
sorry, 25% for the interviews,
Yes.
and fantastic breakup over there. So I think all the students who are listening to us, just open the pen and pads and jot down this particular demarcation being given by doctor. So yes, Dr. Pinaki, if you can continue on this.
Yes. So, basically, as I said, I mean, we as an institute do not think that one day, a couple of hours in your life decide what your life will be in future. And therefore, we say that your 10th is important, your 12th is important, your entrance is important, and the interview is equally important because it has 25% weightage.
Right.
Then, of course, once that is all done, we will come up with our merit list, the final merit list, and based on that, the offers will be made for admits.
Great. And how many number of seats are over there in this for this particular session?
I think Siddharth, if Siddharth would want to take that
Yeah,
question.
sure.
Yeah, so for the first intake, we've announced 72 seats.
Great.
But out of these 72 seats, actually, because we have to follow the reservation norms, there are 12 seats which are for candidates from Telangana, people who have done their schooling in Telangana, because technically we are a state university.
Yes.
All right.
And there are another 12 seats which are meant for foreign nationals.
Okay.
But this year, I think because of the pandemic situation, it's quite likely that we may not be able to fill up all the foreign national seats.
Okay.
So that the unfilled seats will come back to the general pool.
Okay. So
Yeah.
there'll be
So
60 seats available for
yeah.
the.
So out of 72, you can say 48 are all India seats,
Okay.
12 are Telangana seats, and 12 are foreign national seats.
Okay.
And some of the foreign national seats may be vacant, so they will come back to the general pool.
All right. All right, Siddharth sir. Siddharth sir, coming to you only now. So the best thing that excites any of the IPM aspirant is the course structure. कि हमें को पढ़ना क्या है, और because I've been taking lot many interviews of the IPM aspirants, and not only IPM aspirants, I've been taking interviews of the IPM alumni from Indore as well as Rohtak. So they have told me a lot of things about the course structure. So what are you going to cater to the students who are going to come to your institute for the first time now?
So Rahul, one common question that we are getting from a lot of people is that Nalsar is largely known as a law school.
Yeah.
So why should people apply for a management program here?
Yeah.
Now, just by way of background, actually, Dr. Pinaki has been heading our MBA program for the last 8 years. And Nalsar was actually one of the first Indian LLUs to start an MBA program.
Oh.
So we've already developed faculty competence in that area. And technically, we'll be only expanding their department now by starting the IPM. So institutionally, we have some level of preparation
So
going
myth
into
has
this
to be broken.
program.
It's not only a law institute.
Yes, because we started the law programs in 1998. The main program is the 5-year integrated BLLB program, which started in 1998. Then the LLM program started a few years later. And of course, we have PhD program, distance education programs. But our earlier reputation is largely for law.
Right.
So many people ask, why should we come and study management courses here?
Okay.
So I'll try and engage with that question because that is connected to what you're asking.
Okay.
So the course structure that we are offering, especially in our BBA component, if you go to our website of the Department of Management Studies and look at our courses, it has some similarities with the IPMs which are being offered by IIM Indore and IIM Rohtak, but there are also many important differences. And I must clarify to applicants that, to be honest, as an institution, we honestly can't compare ourselves directly with the IIMs, right? We are a slightly different institution with different kinds of strengths, different kinds of capacities, and the kind of program that we will be offering will actually be different in many ways. So one way in which we'll be very different is that we already have several teachers who are competent in law subjects, in social science subjects, who are teaching in the 5-year LLB, the LLM, and the research programs. And many of them will also be teaching in the BBA component. So I don't think you will get that kind of range of faculty expertise and quality in the other institutions, because the management schools are obviously focused more on quantitative skills and business management courses. So what we are offering is a slightly different mix. For instance, right in the first year, students will be taking skills-based courses in public speaking, critical thinking, and language. But they'll also be doing courses in areas such as Indian politics, Indian society, media law, environmental law, law of torts, corporate law, which are subjects which are not normally taught in a BBA course. So in a way, what we are attempting is a new program. And this is pursuing the spirit of the new national education policy, which is asking all institutions, which historically were focused on a single discipline, to diversify. So to be completely honest with you, the main reason we are starting this program this year and not later is because of the national education policy. So Dr. Patnaik, of course, said that we have been thinking about this program for several years. But the reason why we are making this step and making this decision now is primarily because of the NEP. And you will find, Rahul, since you are very involved in the exam preparation business, you will find that many of the other IIMs are planning to move in the opposite direction. For example, IIM Rohtak, I think, wants to start a 5-year law program. And some of the other newer IIMs are also starting IPM programs.
What I have been listening from long time, like 2020 ke baad, integrated program is going to be the future. It's not like everybody is going to study for 5 years after 12th standard. So
not everybody, but I think that option is going to become more popular.
Right. I mean, it's going to be a very, very popular option open for guys. So 10 years down the line, you would find most of the people say, I'm doing integrated program from this particular institute. I'm doing IPM program from this particular institute. You will be listening. And it's great that Nalsar Hyderabad has already taken this initiative. In continuation,
can I just say something, Rahul, on the
sure. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
I'm sorry. I mean, being a law professor, I have a tendency to speak long.
No, please. It's your time.
But the other point which I wanted to mention is that, historically, many people used to criticize the Indian university system for forcing students into narrow straitjackets after class 12, right? And one of the strengths of, let's say, of many of the foreign universities, whether you travel to US or Canada or Australia or England, was that their programs are interdisciplinary right from the undergraduate stage. So I think it is about time that we make this correction and we encourage school-leaving students to explore multiple disciplines at the same time. So rather than forcing them into a narrow straitjacket where they have to study the same thing for 4 or 5 years, I think even the IITs, for instance, are now asking their undergraduate students to take courses in social sciences. We've already mentioned the examples of the IIMs. So I think on behalf of the national law schools, we are trying to take the lead in this matter. And we are hoping that the other law schools will also come up with courses of this kind and other areas in the coming years.
I'll just add one point over here. I read somewhere that, multidisciplinary courses are being introduced. There is a reason behind that. Because it does a 360-degree dimensional growth of the brain. Someone who is studying in any of the institutes where many different courses are being run, and say, when I was talking about IPM Indore program, then they are teaching foreign language. Just after that lecture, students are having finance lecture. Just after that lecture, they have a lecture on coding. So you can understand what kind of different toughs they are actually going through. So student brain becomes immensely, the growth of a student's brain becomes on the higher side after going through all these particular things. So connected question, if Professor Siddharth clearly mentioned many aspects about the course structure. Connected question to you now, Pinaki sir. Is it going to be a residential program? Because, many people right now are glued to the screen and they may be listening, 5 साल के लिए क्या हमको हैदराबाद में रहना पड़ेगा? Is the first question coming to their brains right now. Yes. How are you going to answer this question?
Yes. I think आपको सबसे पहली चीज तो यह है कि आपको हैदराबाद में नहीं रहना पड़ेगा.
Okay.
Hyderabad is not far, but we are not at Hyderabad. We are a little away from Hyderabad. Now, I will also tell you why is it important. I come from a city. I think Siddharth also comes from a city. And then during our summer break, I go home. I'm from Bhubaneswar, so I go home, give or take about 2 to 3 days, and I feel claustrophobic as to looking at the roads, the amount of horn that I have to hear, the pollution that I have to go through. Nalsar is a eco zone with right besides the Nalsar Shamirpet Lake. Your hostels are overlooking the lake.
Okay.
There's a deer park which is right next to the university, which
What are you talking
essentially
about?
is a green zone. Oh yeah, totally, totally.
Okay.
It is an amazing place to actually experience life. I think kids who come to Nalsar ask me. I have spent 8 years here and I don't want to go home. um, i
Amazing.
would I would want people to leave us after 5 years, but if they don't want to, then well, we would not ask them to leave, but they will have to find their way out of the campus in about 5 years time. I have never heard a student in my time here, and I think Siddharth will corroborate, who says that भाई साहब नालसार में जिंदगी बहुत हो गया, अब मुझे यहाँ से भाई छुटकारा चाहिए. ये कभी आपको कोई बच्चा नहीं
You
बोलेगा.
become addicted to that place, right?
Because it is such an immersive campus where so many things are happening together. Yes, this is a residential program. Yes, you will have hostels which are overlooking the lake. These things you see in movies, and it doesn't happen in resorts and movies. You don't see it at home.
Okay. So I think this is a gift being given to you guys by professors from Nalsar Hyderabad, and they're telling you, you're going to be in the heaven, a new heaven for you guys, and that too for the period of 5 years. So yes,
Yes.
it is a fully residential program for you guys. It is also being spoken by Pinaki sir. Now, Siddharth sir, to
For
you.
for
Yeah.
some, I believe heaven is a place on earth, and that's true.
Okay. All right. Now, coming to you, Siddharth sir, whenever we talk about integrated program in management, students going over there for the period of 5 years, there's one thing that gives a kick, and that is student exchange program. So, are you also going to include a student exchange program in your curriculum, or you're not going to include student exchange program? Throw some
Yeah.
light on
So,
that.
so in fact, it's good that you asked me the question because I'm also heading our internal committee which deals with exchange programs.
Okay,
So far, most of our memorandums of understanding are with law schools and other universities, but
okay,
some of our MOUs are also with the entire universities.
okay.
So at the moment, if you look at the exchange program, of course, we've not had it in the last 2 years because of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah.
But prior to that, every year we were sending around 15 to 20 students to study in foreign universities for one semester. So
I'm interrupting you between. Many students, like student who are hooked to Supergrad's YouTube channel, may be knowing about student exchange program, but many students who may be witnessing us on LegalEdge YouTube
yeah,
channel.
I'm answering
If you
that.
can, yeah, if you can tell me about
Yeah, so
something.
actually, I was just coming to the point. So far, we have been sending our BA LLB students,
Okay,
and we normally send them in the fourth and fifth year. But we already have a large number of MOUs signed with universities which also have B schools.
okay,
So once we admit the new IPM batch, we will be also sending them in the fourth and fifth year. So not in the first 3 years, but if they continue with the MBA program and they show sufficient maturity, then based on their academic performance, we'll also be giving them the chance to study abroad for a semester.
okay. So that's great. So a
In fact,
big,
I can give you a sense of the universities with whom we have MOUs that also have business schools.
sure.
For example, we have a MOU with Singapore Management University. We have a MOU with Tel Aviv University, Israel. We have one. I mean, I'm only counting the universities with business schools because if you ask me about law schools, the list is much longer. Then in the US, we have MOUs with 4 universities. In Canada, we have MOUs with 3 universities. There are some MOUs with Australia. So what we will be doing is we will also be following up with our partners and telling them about our new management program. And by the time our students reach the fourth year, once the IPM students reach the fourth year, we will be offering the exchange opportunities to them as well. So what I can say realistically is that since our earlier reputation has largely been for law, the numbers may not immediately add up, but over time it will build up.
Okay. So big point being made over here by Siddharth sir that yes, certainly they are giving due weightage to student exchange program. Also, that maybe in the fourth year, So student may be sent to some other university outside India to study for entire semester. A great news for you guys. And next question, sir, to you. Students are always excited to know about the placements an
Yes.
institution is having. So if you can give us a brief right now on what kind of opportunities are you going to give to the students who are going to be part of IPM program? Pinaki, sir, if you can throw some light on this.
All right, sure. So, I'll start with this common saying that, when you sweat in preparation, the fruits of success are sweeter.
Okay.
So, that based on that, I can tell you that our program is essentially built around enhancing capacity, capability, and skills that the industry is looking for. So we have several interventions, planned, which include structured internship programs. There are 4 internships that you do. The first starts with you experiencing the world. Many of these students will come from cities
Okay.
where they've had a very busy time going from home to school and school back to home,
Right.
and they have actually not experienced a lot of what India essentially is, like the discovery of India. So the first internship is with NGOs. You have to first start your life understanding what India is. Now you will also appreciate the fact that for you to succeed in the industry, you have to have your hands and feet dirty. Now that basically means that you have to go out and experience the world firsthand. Until and unless you do that, companies don't know whether you are only theoretical or you really understand how those theories apply in real life for the 3 sustainable outcomes, right? And people, planet, and process. Profits. So that's how the internship programs are structured around. The first one you do with NGOs, the second you do with startups, and the last 2 you will do with corporate houses. You will also have live projects, industry interfaces, where people from the industry, be it CFOs, CEOs, CXOs, CMOs, they keep coming and talking to you about what they experience life as being industry champions. And the idea is to prepare students mentally and psychologically to enter and succeed the industry. I cannot count how many people walk into the industry and they have no clue of the industry demands. Suddenly your day becomes shorter in terms of how much time you have for yourself. When you are in the hostel or at home, I mean, either you're studying or you're listening to music. Now, as soon as you start working, and I'll take your example, Rahul. See, you are right now, it's already evening. You might want to have a cup of tea, but you can't, because this
Yeah.
is what the job demands, right? I mean, this is what my job demands. I sit here talking to you. Siddharth is right here.
Yeah.
And we have our kids at home who are willing to spend some time with us, but not today.
Not
That
today.
has to
Yeah.
be pushed. That reality has to sink in. A lot of
Right.
the times we enter the industry without knowing the reality. So we also are deeply embedded in the startup ecosystem. Nalsar is a founding partner of the largest incubator of startups in the country, T
Okay.
Hub,
I was
and we
not
are
knowing this.
partners to that.
Okay.
So our students do something called I Start, wherein they go and experience startup founders firsthand for about a month. They maintain a diary and they realize what startup founders actually go through. Every day is a new day for them.
Okay.
Today you might be doing something, tomorrow it might change, and that's the VUCA environment that people have to live in. It's volatile, it's uncertain, it's complex, and it's very ambiguous. Nothing is, you will learn about it. 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. Now in the business world, 2 plus 2 can be whatever. It can be 22 if you want to, right? So those are the kind of things that we focus on. Our TPAC, which is the Training and Placement Advisory cell, is very, very active. Our placement officer is from IIM Rohtak,
Okay.
and it's led by students. So they work around enhancing abilities, interests, and aspirations of our students. So it's a very complicated web that they work on. They will try and map your aspirations. They will try and link it to the possibilities outside, find out opportunities which suit individuals. So it's a lot of work that goes in.
So I
And
mean, you are looking into that aspect as well. So you go
oh yeah,
so deeper.
absolutely.
Great.
Yes, without mapping aspirations, I do not think we should ever walk into the
That's
industry.
fantastic. Double thumbs up for that, sir. I should tell you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So let me brief this particular address being given by Pinaki sir. So he talked about internships. So you'll have an internship within the NGOs first, then you'll be going to the startups as well, understand their culture. Then you will be, introduced to the corporate houses as well. And
Yes.
last but not the least, the placement cell is going to work on you,
Yes.
understand your aspirations, look into you, how well you can perform when you're going into the outside world, and make you ready for that. Because what he clearly told, that requirement of a corporate world is completely different than what exactly you're doing right now, and then you'll be sent into that particular world.
Yes.
Fantastic pathway, sir. And I think this is one thing which people may be looking into and will make people glued to the screens. So stay tuned for some upcoming questions which are going to be which are going to be wonderful as well. Siddharth sir, now to you. IPM is always a heavy fee course. So what is going to be the fee from your end? And would you suggest students to take educational loans if required?
So, Rahul, our fee structure is at the moment 4.2 lakhs per annum,
Okay.
out of which 3 lakhs is the tuition fee, and the remaining amount is for the hostel, mess, internet services, and so on.
All right.
So, obviously, in the first year, until physical classes start, we will only be collecting the tuition fee.
Mm-hmm.
And once the physical classes start, based on that, the other charges will be put. So,
Okay.
if you're looking at it as a 5-year investment, the cost will be approximately 20 lakhs.
Okay.
And the students, of course, have some of their own expenditure in terms of transport and personal allowance.
All
So
right.
if you compare this amount, it is slightly higher than our law programs,
Okay.
because in the law program, the annual fee is around 2.8 lakhs,
Mm-hmm.
whereas in the IPM, it is around 4.2 lakh. But if you compare us with other business schools, not just top tier IIMs, but also business schools in state universities, you will find that the IPM costs in other places are much higher than us.
Right.
So we are deliberately positioning ourselves in the middle, because, like other universities, we also need to improve our revenue to be able to offer good faculty, a good infrastructure, and good resources to our students. So we are not making it very cheap, but it's not very expensive either. So it's a middle range option. In terms of student finance, so since we are a public university, we have a very liberal financial aid package. So once students are admitted, our principle is no one should be forced to discontinue their studies because of financial reasons. So for instance, students who come from historically marginalized backgrounds, we give them help with government scholarships. Those whose parents are finding it difficult to pay the fee, we help them with bank loans. And we
Okay.
also have an internal scholarship policy where we give fee waivers to students who come from disadvantaged backgrounds.
All right.
Just to give you an example, in the previous academic year, 2020-21, it has been a difficult year for many parents.
Right.
Many people have lost their livelihood, their businesses have shut. Many people have unfortunately lost their jobs. Hopefully, such a situation will not occur for a
Right.
long time now. So we had to, in fact, increase the allocation in our internal scholarship program. And you will be happy to know that we were able to cover at least 40 students with their full tuition fee across our existing pool of 700 students.
Okay.
So what we will say is that any student who needs help will get help from the university.
So there is you have put this particular thing on website as well. There's some link and
Yes.
something where they
So,
can.
so we have an internal scholarship committee. So generally, when students are admitted, we give them the option to apply for scholarships, and we give them 3 options. So those who are eligible for government scholarships, we help them get the government scholarship. Those who can manage with bank loans, we help them get bank loans at very low interest rates. And third, we give internal fee waivers to the students who are from needy backgrounds.
Okay.
And so far in our experience, no student has left Nalsar because of financial reasons.
Never.
If you're good enough to get admitted, we will make sure you finish your program.
All right. So 2 big points being made by Siddharth sir over here. First, the fee is not very high. I mean, it's reasonably high, not very, very high. Second point which he is making over here is that, they have fee waiver policies available for very needy students. So that is
Yes.
also available for you guys. Now, Pinaki sir, you were talking about the ambience around. The big question comes to you is, how is the campus? Because a student has to live over there for the period of 5 years. He's going to make memories over there. So if you
Oh,
can give us a small campus tour of Nalsar Hyderabad.
so, as soon as you enter Nalsa's gate, apart from being, really happy seeing what you see. The first signboard that you see, that we are a non-smoking and non-alcohol friendly campus.
Okay.
That's the board. That's the board that you will see. Apart from that, I think a huge auditorium with a capacity of 1,000 people. Uh, Absolutely modern infrastructure, lighting, sound, air conditioning, HVAC. You have the Nalsar academic block, huge library, one of the best libraries that I have seen, which of course is Nalsar. We pride our with our library. But it is not only physical, it's also digital. So you have access to thousands and thousands of books and other material available to you on in the library itself, which is there for all students. Faculty residences, open spaces. There's a stadium where you can play cricket if you want to. People can sit and cheer for you. So there's a Nalsar Stadium. You have a small little football field. Every hostel has badminton courts. We have one, two, three, four lawn tennis courts, two or three basketball courts, open green spaces for yoga, dancing, stuff like that. Theatrics also. I think we have visiting people who teach theater as well. Sports. It's I think if you walk
Everything
around,
larger than the life,
if you just
whatever you.
walk around the campus on a Sunday,
Okay.
you will see people enjoying their life either outside their hostel room or inside sleeping. Both are available and possible. So you have a lovely, beautiful campus to enjoy. If you don't want to, you're feeling like sleeping today because you've been busy throughout, and the course is also quite rigorous.
Right.
Very rigorous. I mean, very, very rigorous.
A lot of demand. It's demanding, in fact.
It's very demanding. I mean, I don't think courses should not be demanding. That's not something
Certainly,
that
certainly.
we are there to help you out. Many faculty stay on campus. Siddharth and me both are on campus actually,
Okay.
including many of our other faculty members. Take a walk down. Our residences are open. I have seen Siddharth talking to students at 3 o'clock in the morning as well. My doors are not shut, so you can. I have had people sitting down discussing events at 1 o'clock in the morning. So it's a lovely place. Sports. I mean, whatever you want to do. I mean, if you just want to chill, then this is the place that you want to be. It's a beautiful potpourri of holistic development.
Okay.
What matters is knowing what interests you and to relax yourself and participate. Stand up and participate, and your life is good. I have spent 8 years on campus, and I have not spent one single day without learning something new. That's what Nalsar is about.
So that this was perfect brand ambassador for the campus of Nalsar Hyderabad. I think whatever points Pinaki sir is making, fantastic. Now, to both of you, I thought, why not to create an atmosphere of a small rapid fire round over here?
Sure.
And starting with, with you, Pinaki sir, on this particular thing. First question to you. A small answer on this. Why IPM from Nalsar Hyderabad?
So we are the only law university, of course, to offer such a program, and that broadens the horizon and opportunity for CLAT aspirants. Because to get into Nalsar LLB program, BA LLB program, you have to be in the top 200, 250. Nalsar is now opening its door a little wider and saying, well, some more can also come. Let's say till 500 you can still come, right? So that's one of the first important points. Why NLU Nalsar? We are ready, we are prepared.
Okay.
If you want to push us into making you better, we are here for you. That's the second. And understand this, that law is omnipresent. From birth to death, everything is law. Birth certificate, death certificate. There is no second guessing that. And it doesn't only apply for individuals, it's also the same for companies, right?
Right.
What's critical is that today's managers need to know the law. I mean, everything is now so governed with law. There are consumer protection laws, there is IP law, there is, in fact, now there is also media, which is governed by law. So everything is law. Knowing law prepares you to perform better, because you would not, the possibility of you losing out because you did not know the law of the land is
Right.
very less. And that's what Nalsar offers. It's therefore more holistic.
So you tighten up your seat belts, right? I mean, because you know the law, and that definitely you can perform very well.
Yes, the flight path is charted now.
Yeah. Now, Siddhartha, to you, how IPM from Nalsar Hyderabad can shape an individual's life?
So first and foremost, we will teach students to constantly question social processes, economic processes, political processes. So their training will not just be in business and law; it will also be in analytical philosophy, critical thinking, and communication skills. So we are aiming for a more holistic and well-rounded education at
Diversified,
least
yeah.
in the first 3 years. And those who want to continue with us and complete the MBA can then work towards their careers.
Hmm.
So we are giving a very flexible program. Even if students, for instance, find that they're not so interested in pursuing an MBA, they can pursue other options. And the kind of education we will provide will actually open up more career options for the students who spend time with us. So we are not, for us, the employment and placement will come at the end of the 5 year program. We are more invested in the educational process and the actual development of real skills in our students.
All right.
So that's the real strength
So
that
an
we
individual will add value to his life, what I get
have.
from you, right? Once he is out of Nalsar Hyderabad. The next one is a tougher one, sir. So, and it's coming to Pinaki, sir. So, do you think IPM from Nalsar Hyderabad is equivalent to IPM from the renowned IIMs?
Yes, now that's a fantastic question. Now you have to first understand that IIMs are a category of higher education institutions in India by themselves. They are a category by themselves. They have made that mark for themselves and they have been torchbearers in management education since decades. There is no doubting that. But then, NLUs are also nothing less. If what IIMs are for management education and IITs are for technical education, NLUs have been for legal education.
Right.
Among management education and technical education, there can be a gap, but that is still okay. If there is a gap in law, you are in serious trouble. So therefore, we today tried and pushed the envelope a little further, and we said we are going to create managers who are ethically and legally sound.
Really
They
sound,
have to
right?
be ethically and legally sound. ठीक moral science school में बहुत पढ़ा है ना, वो कोई याद भी नहीं रखता, ठीक है. But legally and ethically you have to be sound, and that's the genesis of our program. We are you know in terms of being who we are with IIMs, we are much closer than we seem to be. Like they produce brilliant managers, we produce amazing lawyers who fight for you, right? They ensure that you don't go behind the bars at times. So we are not that different also. Personally, if you ask me, with our preparation of the last so many number of years, the new education policy and our proven emphasis on quality education, I can guarantee that the education and the experience will be nothing different than what an IIM gives you. What next is your responsibility of making yourself stand up and count. We will take the horse to the water, but I'm not going to force the water on you. I am legally bound not to do so.
So, a big point being made once again, and Pinaki sir is saying that, if IIMs are making brilliant managers, they are going to make legally sound managers, which are going
Yes,
to be more effective than brilliant managers as well. Now,
yes.
Siddharth sir, to you, why should, I mean, it's a talk of the town today. Why should any student do an IPM program after standard 12th, and why can't he join a PG program after doing or after completing the graduation?
See, I will look at it from the point of view of how many colleges in India are offering a good quality undergraduate education.
All right.
Rahul, in spite of our best efforts, in spite of efforts being made by the central government, state government, and private parties, the demand for higher education is still very large. Now, for good or bad reasons, many of our undergraduate colleges are not being run to the standards which we should be running. So I believe that for students who are very clear about pursuing this career path, it makes sense to make an early decision and acquire a foundation in commerce and business administration. Because then, if you want to look at the postgraduate option, you will be much stronger and you will make a far more informed choice at a later stage. For instance, if people get credible opportunities, there is nothing which prevents them from even doing two MBAs.
Yeah.
I know people from my own school network who have done one MBA in India, another MBA abroad, and are now working elsewhere. So I don't see any inconsistency here. I think the basic goal for us is at the moment is to attract school leaving students and offer them a rigorous and well-rounded undergraduate program, and we will help them make their decisions as they go along. For instance, the point that we are emphasizing about giving the exit option has also been placed keeping that in mind. For instance, at the end of the third year, we may find that some students may want to prepare for CAT and try for one of the well-known IIMs.
Right.
Some students may actually go in a very different direction. Maybe they want to prepare for civil services, or somebody wants to try careers in other areas like journalism or public policy. So you will find that our coursework will prepare you for all of these options, right? So we are trying to broaden the ambit here rather than saying, look, it's a choice between an undergraduate degree or a postgraduate degree. We want to actually expand the options which are available to our applicants. And we believe because of our experience in delivering intensive residential programs for the last 23 years, we can do a good job of this new program as well. On the question of comparisons with IIMs, look, I mean, they've been around for 6 decades. The older IIMs are globally known institutions, and we are a new player, right? So we should also be humble and accept that we are also to some extent engaging in an experiment, but it is an experiment that is grounded in a good understanding of the higher education needs of the country. And because we have delivered in another field, we are now developing the capacity to deliver in this area as well. So I would not directly compare ourselves with IIMs. I think it's too early to say that. Maybe once we finish the first batch in 2026, then we should be making those comparisons.
Right. Okay. I think fantastically answered this particular question. I completely savvy your each and every point being made by you. One thing I would like to add on this particular thing, that it's in India only that students who wish to pursue their careers in the field of management start their careers after graduation. Like after BE, student जाके management कर रहा है. Three Idiots में इसका जिक्र भी किया गया था, if you remember that particular movie. So it becomes quite evident if you really wish to move into the career called management or law, why not to start just after 12th? Because that's going to help you certainly. And why just to waste you 3 or 4 years in some other field which may not be helpful for you in the coming years? True. So fantastic points being made by Siddharth sir as well. And before I say goodbye to both the professors who have directly joined us from Nalsar Hyderabad, one by one, if they can give the advice to the glued screen audience right now, because it has been a fantastic interview, an interview which I'm going to remember for my entire life. Sir, your advice to the new generation kids today looking to you on their screens.
So first of all, of course, I would like to say that good luck to everyone for their IPMAT, JIPMAT, CLAT, JE. Just something to remember and take home. Always remember that success is not to be measured only by the outcome. It must also be measured with the efforts that you put in. I might try really hard, and we all forget it. Nobody remembers all the hard work that has gone into where we are today. All that we remember is the effective memory. So that should not be. Measure your success not just with the outcome, but also with the effort. When we understand that your efforts speak a lot about you, it speaks a lot about how persistent you are, what your perseverance levels are, and also how dedicated you are. And that's very important to us. That's really, really important to us, as an institution, as an individual, at least. So that's all from me. But stay well, stay safe, and take your vaccine when your turn comes.
Great advice, I think, being given by Pinaki sir, that efforts matter more than success, because you may be successful one day, but your efforts are going to count at the end. Now, yes. Siddharth sir, your turn.
No, what I wanted to say to students is that many people are finishing high school in an unprecedented time. The pandemic is a once in a century event. India has not seen such a loss of life since the Bengal famine or the partition. So we are facing such a huge problem maybe after 3 generations.
Right.
So obviously we are dealing with a situation that we were not really prepared for even 2 years ago. And we will have to make several bold and brave decisions in the coming years. So my only comment or my only thought that I want to leave school leaving students with is that giving an entrance exam, planning for college admissions is only one stage in a very long life that you guys are going to have, right? So give it your best shot, make the best possible effort, but don't get stressed about it.
Yes.
Right? Because after all, entrance exams, admissions are only a momentary filter to decide which college you go to this year, right? But your careers and lives are much longer and much more important. So please prioritize your mental health, prioritize your family, prioritize and pursue activities which you enjoy, right? If one path closes for you, another path will open. And that is something that happens to all of us as we grow older. So please don't be stressed. Give the exams to the best of your capacity. I'm sure if all of you approach it with positive intent and with an open mind, you will find a course that suits you. So we are not saying that you should choose us and come to us. We are not saying that. If you accidentally get here, we'll be happy to interact with you. But if you get into many of the other good colleges which are offering IPM programs, I'm sure you will get a very good experience there as well. So remember, college entrances, admissions, we give them too much importance in the Indian context. And one of the reasons for having an interdisciplinary program is to try and break free of this thinking that you are much more than the mark sheet that you were given when you finished high school, right? The kind of person you are at the age of 18 will not be the kind of person you will be when you're 28, 38, 48, 58, 68, right? So please think about this as a long-term process and invest in yourselves, stay safe, and don't get stressed.
I think I've become fan of both of you, sir, and a very very good point being made by Siddharth sir as well. He said you give your best, but your life is more important. So outcome, whatever may be the outcome, just take it as it is and live stress free. Fantastic session. I think I'm undated and thankful to you, to both beautiful souls who have come over here on LegalEdge as well as Supergrad's YouTube channel. And it was a fantastic interaction with you people. Certainly, NLU Nalsar's IPM program is going to be the talk of town now. And just visit the website of NLU Nalsar Hyderabad. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.